guys, how you doing? It's Henry at Mowers and Blowers. Good morning. It's the day after Thanksgiving. You guys are watching this like mid-December. I only have like about 3 lawn tractors to work on now in my shed and a couple of small items that I need to get fixed or decide what I want to do with. That's the extent of my content equipment that I have until the next pick, you know. This is a Bilt 2800 PSI 2.3 max gallons per minute pressure power washer. It has the professional 8.5 Briggs engine. This is the same engine that they put on the Toro Time Master lawn machines, as well as the Weed Eater little small green yucky ride-on mowers that I know of. I'm familiar with this engine because I had a bunch of items that have this engine on it. It's a very good engine. As you can see, this machine is in pristine condition, like almost new. I got it from my friend Nick Iardi over in Central Islip, and he gave it to me because a customer brought it to him to fix, but they didn't want to pay for it or whatever, so he kept it and he gave it to me because he didn't want it. It has a busted water pump, which is usually what's wrong with these pressure washers, but the engine usually is good. I have had very good success on converting lawnmowers from power washer engines. It's just a matter of getting a longer blade adapter for your lawnmower. Either way though, I'd like to keep the engine or use it for another application in the future, you know, and I'd like to use this stand for engine stands. So obviously I have an engine, I got a stand, I'll just keep it on here, but he gave it to me because he needed the carburetor for some other thing. So my friends over at HipaStore.com sent me what I think is the carburetor for this engine. So today I'm just gonna knock this out of the way. You know, I need to eventually get to it, and today is a perfect day. Well, it's not a perfect day to do anything. It's a perfect day to just sit at home and watch TV, but I'm a little antsy. I want to come out and do something, you know, and I know you guys know what I mean. You know, after you had a big Thanksgiving meal, you can't just sit on your couch. Well, I guess you could, but you know, I'd like to come out and knock this out. Should be very, very simple. Of course, when I say it's very, very simple, what happens? It turns out to be like a 3-4 hour ordeal. You know how that goes. But who knows? We might get lucky today. The kit comes with your gaskets and your O-rings and stuff, right? This is the original gasket that came off of here, I guess. It's just sitting on the floor, I'm assuming. It does come with the cover. And it does come with the air box and on and off switch. I'm not familiar on exactly how it goes, but I hope all the parts are here, and we'll try to figure out how this carburetor goes on here. Remember, the water pump is busted, so all this is good for is for like another lawnmower repower, or who knows, another power washer that needs an engine, you know. But I could take apart this engine and sell just the cover, the gas tank, all the other stuff in it, flywheel, for a good amount of money, you know, $50 to $100. But if this engine runs perfectly, why ruin a perfect engine just to part it out for money? You know, it's an option, but I may be able to use this engine in the future. You know, maybe repower a smaller lawn tractor, you know, 8.5, or a big push lawnmower, you know. So I'm gonna disassemble this and just try to figure out exactly how the carburetor goes on here, and then hopefully once we get it on there, we can test it and see if this engine runs. If not, we just take the whole thing apart and sell it for parts. I'm not gonna need this. This just gets in the way, you know what I mean? Okay, you guys saw from time lapse, it wasn't very hard to put on. I had to try to figure out the linkages. This is the kind where it's an auto choke. It goes into the part where it attaches to the muffler thermostat, so that once you start it, right, to start off with, the choke is going to be closed. The choke flap is going to be closed. When it starts, the muffler heats up the thing, and this pushes it forward like that. The thermostat pushes it open, and so the choke flap will open and run normally. I noticed that there was a spring over here where it looks like a bar that you can bend to increase or decrease the throttle speed, and the spring was rusted to hell and it broke it in half. So I just found another spring just to give it some light tension. I can adjust this later, but I bent it that way to have less well, that's not going to work, but we'll see how it goes. Looks like there's a hole there. That hole right there where the spring goes into and connects onto this bar that's bendable, see? So that you can adjust the throttle, I'm assuming. But let's just try it without it first, because that obviously doesn't work. See how that works? The throttle moves. This muffler pushes this open. So I put the cover on. This cover had an attached switch, on and off switch. I connected the wire that was loose, put it in there. The other side is grounded to that stud. The fuel line is connected on to the gas tank, and this was placed on there with just two 5/16s as normal. It does come with the air filter, but I'm going to blow fluid in here and give it a start. The gas tank is empty because and pretty clean. It's empty because the fuel line was just hanging, so all the fuel just leaked out. So I mean, it looks okay. I'm gonna go blow fluid in it. Got some Sure Start 50% ether starting fluid. I'm gonna open the choke. Blow some stuff in there. Spring automatically closes the choke. On. I guess we can just pull it started and see if it turns over. Let's see if there's any Earl in here. Yep, it's good Earl up to the line. What do you guys think? Give it a start? Doesn't feel all that smooth, to be honest with you. All right. It seems like has some resistance, and it has something to do with the pump. Crankshaft is on the pump, and the pump is probably seized, but it did go, you know what I mean? It did turn over. So I'm just going to put a little bit of gas in here and see if it tries to run on its own, and then it'll loosen up the pump, whatever is resisting the crankshaft. Gas station. It's $3.79 after the midterm elections. Day after Thanksgiving. I'm just putting a little in here. I'm not putting a lot. Who knows when I'm going to use this damn thing, you know? I just needed to get this going. All right, so we got gas. Trickle, trickle, trickle. Still on. Just going to give it a couple pulls and see if it starts. And runs on its own. It wants to. But there's resistance. There's resistance. You can't pull it hard. I feel like I need to disconnect the pump. The choke was stuck open because I didn't have a spring there. Maybe I should put a spring. Just move some more stuff in there. Ooh. It wanted to stay running, but because of a lack of a spring, it stopped. Okay, I added a better spring with more slack. That one was too tight, so this one's a bigger spring, and it looks like it pulls that open once you try to start it, and therefore pushes that lever to keep the flap open. Let's try this. Alright, so it starts, but because I feel resistance, like the engine's moving and then it's preventing the engine from continuously going because there's resistance from, if the pump is seized, it's holding on to the crankshaft and not allowing it to spin, especially at startup, you know what I mean? It should be pretty easy to pull. So I think I'm gonna disconnect the pump now, because the pump's busted anyway, right? It's just impeding my efforts to start the engine. Okay, as you saw from time lapse, removed bolts to remove the pump. Here's the pump right here. And there's some resistance, see? So it makes it hard for me to pull. So now that we got that out, there's nothing holding the crankshaft from turning. So let's see now if it will start and stay running. A little easier to pull. All right, but it still doesn't stay running. So did I jinx myself? So far it's been 2 hours just for putting a carburetor on. Even though I had about 3 or 4 or 5 of these things, I don't remember exactly how the linkages go. I was just assuming that it just made sense. But maybe I don't have the linkages on right. So far I only spray it in there, I pull it, it starts for that puff, and then it stops. I look at the linkages and they're moving around when it stops. I think it's because once it puffs open, it shuts it off and cuts it by itself. I also checked to see if it was getting gas. So I took the bowl off and there was gas. Put it back down again, dripping fuel going into the carb. So it is getting gas. It's a new carburetor. Why wouldn't it, you know, the fuel go up, the emulsion, right? So I think it's the linkages. You know, I have a power washer just like this in my shed back there. It's kind of hard to get into though. Maybe I should go look at those linkages and compare. That's what I'll do. Okay, I'm in my little shed. As you can see, got the same exact power washer. Well, it's not. This is 7.75. The one I'm working on is an 8.5, a little bit more. I think if I just took this cover off right here, I'll be able to see what the hell it looks like and take a picture of it. Okay, I just took a screw off of there, bolt over here, and now we can see what the hell this looks like. Oh, I still can't see very well. I'm going to take a picture of it. So as you can see from the picture, it's not the same setup. That one has like 3 new springs with a different bracket. So that's not going to help me, you know. While I was trying to test it again, I was shooting some of this starter fluid in there, and the straw got stuck in there. I just had to tilt it backwards. It's stuck in there, man. So I don't know, guys. It doesn't stay running by itself. I can't figure it out. I know it's the linkages. Either the spring tension is too strong or it's too loose. I can't figure it out, man. I'm just gonna have to sit here and figure it out. Okay, so I decided to put it back down and take the bowl off and inspect the carburetor, because it just seems like it's not getting any gas. It's only running on the spray that I spray in there. And I tested it, and it was dripping down in the bowl. Now, there was something that was kind of suspicious to me. When I was removing the nut, it required a 9/16 socket. Whenever is it a 9/16 socket for one of these, right? So I removed the nut, the 9/16, and it looks like that, right? However, where is the side hole that allows the fluid to go up? Where's the side hole? There's no side hole. So how is it getting fuel up the emulsion? Because it's blocked with the screw. It has to have a hole on the side that goes up this hole into the emulsion. Could that be the reason why it's not getting any gas? Because usually this jet has a hole so that you have a jet. So I took another one, the proper one, 1/2" socket, not socket, but jet nut, and it has the hole, right? I'm just gonna try it, because honestly, I've never seen one that doesn't have a hole here. You got a hole drilled for that, but where's the hole on the side? There is none drilled. Could it be that there was an error in manufacturing and they forgot to drill the hole? Is that a possibility? And I've been going through this troubleshooting for an hour and a half, and all it was a improperly drilled hole? That would be very bad for Hipa when this all gets out. And it's gonna get out if this is the problem. If not, I'll take it back. But I'm gonna install this bowl. I don't know, it seems like it's bowl's too small for that now. The hole. So this is the original bowl from that, and this is a regular Briggs carburetor bowl. The hole is smaller than what they have, but the opening is the same, and the height is the same. So to prevent any problems, I'm going to use this old bowl from OEM Briggs carburetor with using the OEM jet nut that's supposed to have a hole drilled, right? Otherwise, how is the emulsion ever going to get the gas if you have no hole drilled? And that would be the reason why it seems like it's not getting any gas. Just making sure this is clear. Guess I'm just going to try it. Let's just make sure that it's clear with fuel coming out the top. So now let's spray the top. See if it goes up the sides. And it does. So it's clear. I just thought it was unusual for it to be 9/16. I've never had the nut be 9/16 before. It's always been a 1/2 inch. So I thought that was unusual, so I checked it out again. Right? Have you guys ever seen a 9/16 nut on a Briggs carburetor before? Never. Never. All right, maybe it'll get gas now. Oh my God, if that was the problem, that would be a big deal. Very bad for Hipa. Very, very bad. I had held the choke open with this bungee cord because I was troubleshooting everything, you know. Now that it might be that problem, I'll just keep it the way it is. Hopefully it's getting gas now.
Was an error in their manufacturing the whole time.
You guys freaking believe that? Oh my God. I mean, I wasted like 2 hours of my life because the nut was not drilled out. Can you believe that? If I don't know engines the way I do, there's never any way anybody would have, a regular layperson would have figured that out. They would have bought a carburetor from Hipa and was screwed, you know. So that's a negative, definitely a negative experience for everyone in this respect. And you guys know I'm very honest, and I am going to release this video, and Hipa will know it. Even though they've been very good to me, it is a lesson for Hipa on their quality control. I guarantee you they're not going to send me any more carburetors. So, you know, errors can happen. I've gotten about 20 or 25 Hipa carburetors since we had the cooperation, since they became my supplier. And out of the 25, this is the only one that's failed. Not so much failed, but there was an error. They forgot to drill out the hole for the nut, which is super important. If I wasn't a small engine guy, if somebody, a layperson, would have bought a carburetor just to install, they would never have figured out that it wasn't supposed to be a 9/16 jet nut. It's supposed to be a 1/2 inch jet nut. In accordance, their bowl was drilled bigger for a 9/16 nut. So that's an error in manufacturing. That's a good thing. Think about it. I caught it, so now they can fix the problem. I'm sure if somebody bought that carburetor, Hipa would have refunded their money and replaced their carburetor with one that works. But it would have been a pain in the butt for that person and probably be kind of upset, which is understandable. Look, I wasted 2 hours of my life to figure out that there was no hole drilled in the jet nut, right? But nevertheless, fortunately, I had another nut, I had another bowl, put it on here, started right up. You know, mistakes do happen. What are you going to do? Look, I'm not defending them. I'm just saying mistakes do happen. It is bad, and now Hipa knows, and hopefully they'll fix their quality control. But anyway, we got this engine running now. Took the pump out. Spent a lot of time on it, unfortunately, but kind of an interesting episode, right? To go through all the different troubleshooting steps and to just figure out that there was a error in the part. So anyway, thanks a lot for joining me, guys. We'll see you guys next. Oh, I'd be interested in hearing your comments. Leave it in the comments, guys. We'll see you guys next time on Mowers and Blowers. I just drained the gas, running the rest of the carburetor stuff out. There we go. Now it's winterized. Hey, I'm Andy from Jericho.
See you guys next time on Mowers and Blowers.